Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. How are you all doing? Today we will be learning about class 7 ratio and proportion. Now in previous videos we had already seen what is ratio, what is the definition and what are the uses of ratio. Now let's get further, let's move a step ahead and learn more about ratios. So, to begin with, we had seen that ratio is nothing but comparison of two quantities. Means if I write 3 is to 2, I have a factor which is common in between which has been simplified. So, that means there are two quantities. One is 3 times the unknown value and the other one is 2 times the unknown value. Here we are multiplying and comparing in terms of the multiples. Now this is one type of comparison. We have comparison by different methods. This is one type of comparison. Then we have another type of comparison using percentage. We will come to percentage in the coming videos, but to just give you a sample, here percentage, when we say per, that means every. Cent is 100. Cent means 100. So we are comparing, we are turning down everything in terms of a denominator by 100 and comparing the numerators. So the comparison becomes even more easier. So that is percentage. Now continuing with ratios, let's move ahead. Let's start with a very easy example. We have 6 2 by 3 is to 7.5. Let's first convert this into improper fraction. Now we have to convert this more, so to make this into simpler form. So to take the simpler form, first we'll have to take the LCM of both of these fractions. So LCM of 3 and 2 is 6. So taking the 6 as the Taking 6 as the LCM, we have 15 into 6 by 2, which gives us 40 is to 45. Now we can take the HCF here. The HCF is 5, or the common factor, highest common factor is 5. So here we get 8 is to 9. Here is the simplest form of the ratio. So moving on, we have our next question. The angles of a pentagon are in the ratio 2 is to 4 is to 2 is to 1 is to 1. So there are pentagons, so there are 5 sides and there are 5 angles as well. So if the total measure of the angles of the pentagon are 520 degrees, right? So this is 520 degrees. What are the measure of each angle? Now, whenever we are asked to solve any question involving geometry, it is best to draw a figure and then you get a very good idea about the question. So we start with writing down the ratio which is given to us. So 2 is to 4 is to 1 is to 1 is to 1. Now we also know that this is the simplest form. That means there is a common factor which we don't know what is the factor. So let's assume that that is a variable and let's take it as 2a. So a is the variable this time. 4a is to 2a is to a is to a. Right? So we have putting it down in the figure, we have 4a, 2a, 2a, a and a. Now it says the total measure of the angles. That means when I add all the angles, I will get 520 degrees. So 2a plus 4a plus 2a plus a plus a. So when I add all of them, I get 520 degrees, and adding all these like terms, we get 10a is equal to 520. So a, dividing on 10 by 10 on both the sides, we get a is equal to 520 by 10, that gives us 52 degrees. Now that is the variable. We've got the common factor 52. So the first angle 2a will be 2 into 52, gives us 104 degrees. 4a gives us 4 into 52, which gives us 208 degrees. Again, 2A will be 104 degrees. A, the fourth angle A is just 52, and the fifth angle is also just 52. So here are the five angles that of the pentagon. Now let's see one more question. The ratio of men to women. Now whenever we are asked to write a ratio, it's best when we start with writing what are the numbers, what is it representing. So here we are writing men is to women, and that is in the ratio 2 is to 3. When there were 40 people in the room. So it means that the number of men is actually 2x. So x is the variable that I am taking here. 2x is to 3x, and the total, that means 2x plus 3x, the total number of people in the room were 40. So here we add and simplify the equation. We get the value of the unknown variable as 8. That means the number of men were 2x, that is 2 into 8 gives us 16, and women was 3 into x gives us 3 into 8 is 24. So these were in the beginning. And if 4 men leave the room, what is the new ratio? So if 4 men leave the room, that means the new ratio is men are 16 minus 4 gives us 12, and women is 24 itself. They have not changed. So the new ratio is 12 is to 24, which simplifies down to 1 is to 2. So the next thing that we will be seeing is proportions. Now in the previous year also we have studied proportions, and we have seen that two ratios are called as in proportion when the simplest form of both the ratios are same. So if going by the previous example, we had 1 is to 2 and 12 is to 24. Now when I simplify 12 is to 24, I get back 1 is to 2. So I can say that these two ratios are in proportion. So moving on, writing it in a generalized form in terms of variables, we have A is to B is proportional to C is to D, and we have also seen in the previous year that A and D are called as extreme terms. B and C are called as middle terms. And we have also seen that the product of the extreme terms A into D is equal to the product of the mean terms, that is B into C. So this is the concept which we will be using for our next coming questions. So the next example that we will be seeing is Sonia reads 165 pages of a book which is having 275 pages in total in 7.5 hours. So 165 pages of the book she has read it in 7.5 hours. How long will it take to read the rest of the book? So the rest of the book, we already know how many total pages it has, and she has read already 165 pages. So subtracting, we get 110. So there are 110 more pages of hers to read in how many hours? This is the question. So these are the number of hours and these are the number of pages. Now if we have to solve this using proportions, we will have to be careful while writing the ratios, because ratios demands that we write both of them in the same units. We'll have to write pages is to pages is proportional to hours is to hours. So we have 165 pages is to 110 pages is proportional to 7.5 is to x. Now again we know that product of means is equal to product of extremes. So we write 165 into x is equal to 110 into 7.5. So dividing by 165 on both the sides, we have x is equal to 110 into 7.5 divided by 165. Now to remove this decimal here, I will multiply by 10 on the numerator and the denominator. So basically I am multiplying by 10 this way. 7.5 into 10 will give us 75 divided by 1650. 165 into 10 gives us 1650. Now that I have all of them in the whole number form, 75 and 165, both of them are divisible by the number 15. So 15 fives are 75, 15 11s are 165, then we have this 10. So then 110 in the numerator, 110 in the denominator gives us 1 and leaves us with the number 5. So we have 5 hours. So the rest of the books, 110 pages, are read in 5 hours. Here is another question on proportions. Now this is a little trick question, and I promise you if you understand this question, proportions chapter becomes really easy. So the question says, in a zoo, the ratio of horses to zebras. So we have horses to zebras is 3:4. When one horse is added, the ratio now changes and becomes 4:5. So now how do we add this? We know that 3:4 is actually the simplest form of the ratio. So when we are multiplying, we need to multiply with the same quantity like we have seen for the other question. Becomes 3x is to 4x. This is the actual quantity of the horses. Now we add one horse. So the ratio becomes 3x plus 1 is to 4x. Now this ratio is proportional to 4:5. After adding, it becomes proportional to 4:5. Now we can say that if I get the value of x, I will be able to find the value of the number of horses that were there initially. So we have 5 into 3x plus 1. So I have to multiply the entire term is equal to 4x into 4. Now using the distributive property, we will expand this and write 15x plus 5 is equal to 16x. Now we have an equation, we can solve for the value. Now we have two terms involving x, the variable x, like terms. So let's get them on the same side of the equation. So we have 16x minus 15x. I have taken the 15x to the other side of the equal to sign, or you can also say that I have subtracted by 15x on both the sides. This leaves us with 5 on the LHS. So 16x minus 15 gives us x, and so the factor was 5. So our initial ratio is 3:4. And now we know that that is 3x is to 4x gives us 3 into 5 is to 4 into 5. That means we had 15 horses and 20 zebras. Now when we added one horse, it became 16 is to 20. That was proportional to 4:5. When we simplified, it became 4:5. Now that we've come to the end of this video, I would like to leave you all with one question which you can solve it by yourself. The question is, what number must be added to each of the terms in the ratio 9:16. So 9:16, I have to add 9 with something and 16 with something to make the ratio 2:3. Please post your answers in the comments below. You can take a snapshot of this question. So here we come to the end of this video. So in the next video, we will be seeing about percentage. And if you like my video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Also, I would love to see all the answers in the comments below. See you in my next video.